Hi, it's Sabrina. We're doing a formal video. I haven't done one in so long, and I'm going to be talking about my favorite books of 2023. I haven't done a favorites video since I think 2021, and that was me talking about my 2020 books. So this is great to get back to. I read a lot of good books this year, and I'm very excited to talk about them. I'm going to talk about my top 15 favorites because I want to talk about some other books that aren't in my top 10. So let's jump right into it. I'll go from number 15 first. I do have a whole spreadsheet here, color coordinated and all that. But number 14 is The Guy for Me by Marzy Opal. This book I read while going to the Netherlands. I wasn't planning on reading. The trip going there was like 8 hours. I was not planning on reading, mostly because I wanted to sleep, because I think there's like a 12-hour time difference. So that was my plan, but I didn't sleep a wink that flight, unfortunately, when I really should have. So me being bored out of my mind, I was like, you know what? I have my iPad. I'm just gonna read something that I already have downloaded, and The Guy for Me was one of those books, and it was so good because I read a book before this. It was another short novella, because this is a novella, and that was not a good one. And so I went into this one, I was like, okay, whatever, and it was so good. It was like you're just like your perfect rom-com book. I don't know if it's a rom-com, perfect romance book. It is so good. This story, if I'm remembering correctly, follows two characters who become pen pals in high school, and they're both self-conscious of the way they look because they're more on the heavier side, and so they both have like their own feelings about it. But yeah, they keep this pen pal relationship going even after high school, and they become really good friends, but they've never met. And in this book they finally meet, but they don't reveal like their identities to each other. At least, like, I think his name is Liam. At least Liam doesn't at first. And yeah, it's perfection. Literally everything you could ask of a romance novella. It was so good. Literally, I finished it right as the plane was landing, and I was grinning ear to ear. It was so good. What a great way to start my Netherlands trip. Oh my god. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. Coming in at number 14 is Our Ride to Forever by Julie Olivia. Now, this series, I've read the first 2 books. I really like them. They weren't the best things that I've ever read, but they were really good. I really like them, and this was beautiful. I loved it, like near perfection. It is so good. This book follows our 2 main characters, Theo and Orson. His name is Orson, like Orson Welles. You never meet a person named Orson anymore. Have you ever? I've never. This follows them, and they have this one night stand, which leads to many more nights together, and eventually they end up getting married. But this is a marriage of convenience, you know, mostly for healthcare reasons. We love that. I would do it too, you know, but things get a little bit too serious, and so they're still married for health benefits, but they don't really like want to be in a relationship. More like Theo doesn't want to be in a relationship, and this just complicates a lot of things. But then some things happen, and then they end up reconnecting, and romance ensues. It's great. I love this. I love this book so much. It's so good. Truly, like, actually everything I want in a romance book. It's just filled with like the best main characters who like just love and care for each other so much. It's spicy, like the good amount of spice. It's so cute and romantic. I think that Theo and Orson have just like the best chemistry ever, and they have like so much in common, and that is what a romance novel should contain, you know, a good connection between the main characters. It's great. So yeah, I loved it. I can't say for the 4th book, I DNF'd that one. Very sad. But oh my god, the drama that is within the series with that last couple, I forgot their names, but drama, please. Oh my god, maybe I'll revisit it because I really want to know what happens. Please. Anyway, I gave Our Ride to Forever a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Talking about number 13, we have the magnificent The Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang. This book Truly a masterpiece, like a fantasy standalone masterpiece. I don't think I've ever read a standalone fantasy, so this was my first one, and oh my god, this is such a good book. I will have to say that the beginning, though, is very slow, and there are parts that are info dumpy, but like, I get it. It's a standalone fantasy, so you really want to get like the entire world like rounded out in the first half, and then the second half is when you can really like do everything you want, and oh my god, did it do what it wanted to do. This book follows our two main characters, Misaki, who's a 34-year-old mother, and we have Mamoru, who is a 14-year-old boy who is the son of Misaki, and we follow these two as Misaki has like put herself in the mother position, you know, and we follow Mamoru, who is coming into this like hero role, you know, this like leadership type of person, because his father is a person of like leadership status, and so Mamoru is expected to assume like that kind of role. And yeah, it's basically just about these two separate journeys, and it's truly just like the best thing ever, I think, because I have like a whole review about this in one of my vlogs, but I'll say it again. It's so interesting how ML Wang chose to have our like conventional hero character Mamoru alongside a not so conventional hero Misaki, you know, someone whose time has passed and someone who just like wouldn't be looked at as a mother, or like stories that aren't usually centered around mothers who are heroes within fantasy worlds. And so it's so good. I love it. It is so heartbreaking. My heart breaks, but it was so good. It was so good. Like by the end of it, you're kind of like in this trance where you're like, what has happened? What is going to happen next? Because I can't see how any of this is gonna get better. Like, how are we gonna recover from this? Truly. But yeah, this was such a good book. I love it so much. And I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. Talking about number 12, Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee. The third book in the Greenbone saga. And there are reasons why it is not top 10. I mean, my top 10 is really good. But Jade Legacy, I would say it's my least favorite out of the 3 books. I'm not including Jade Shards or the Janloon Setter. I haven't read that one, and I do want to read that one, so we'll see. But Jade Legacy, I think I read something where it said that this was supposed to be a 5-book series, and I can kind of tell with the third book, just because so much time passes, and I feel like we could have gotten like so much more. I have a whole video talking about the trilogy, okay? And I do also have it's like a part of a vlog where I talk about Jade Shards. So if you want like my full-ish thoughts, go watch that video. It's really just a lot of rambling though. So Jade Legacy, it was really good. I still really loved it, but it was just like my favorite characters weren't very prominent when they were prominent in the past books. Yeah, just a lot of time passes, and like I feel like we fast forward through things I wanted to see, and it was a lot of things going on, and like a lot of things going on, but it was still done really well. Like it wasn't confusing or anything. It was just like there was so much going on. We need to slow down, and we really need to like delve into these little think pieces, because so like this one, I would say this one is like in second place for like how much politics there are. First one is definitely politics heavy, but the third one is still politics heavy. Like I was kind of like losing myself within that. But yeah, I felt like I don't know, it was a lot of stuff, and most of it has to do with Shay. I wanted to see so much more of Shay, and I feel like we fast forwarded so much of her life, and I wanted to see it. And so yeah, that was like my big gripe on this book. That ending was so bittersweet though. It was a perfect ending though, I would say. That's why this book is not top 10. Yeah, I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars though. And talking about number 11, this, in my top 10, I do not have any romance novels, which is a complete 180 from last year. Last year, I think majority of them were romance novels, but this is the highest romance novel, and it's Happy Place by Emily Henry. This book. I've heard many complaints about it, and let me just say this here. I've said it already in a vlog where I talk about this book. I give a review about this book already too in one of my vlogs, so you can also go watch that if you're interested in more of my thoughts. But I just feel like if you don't like this book, you have never loved someone so much to the point where you want to cry and you would do anything for them, because that is what this book made me feel. It is just so good. It is my favorite Emily Henry book. It doesn't get better than this. It's so good. I just like Harriet and Wynne, just amazing. If you don't know what this book is about, this book is about, it follows Harriet, our main character, and she was in this very long time relationship with Wynne, her ex-fiance now, and they broke up, but they haven't told their friends. And like every year, her and her friends have this like vacation at one of her friends' vacation home, and so it's like this annual thing, and their friends don't know that Harriet and Wynne have broken up, and they're still gonna go on this vacation. And so Harriet and Wynne are still pretending that they're together, and it's amazing. It is so good, so good. The structure of it is my favorite thing, like talking about the past and then also like reflecting on that in the future, like, or not the future, but like the present, like the parallels. I will always go insane for parallels. Literary parallels, my thing. So yeah, I gave this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Now talking about my top 10. At number 10, we have Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. This is so good. This was one of my first books that I read of the year. I think it was like my 5th or 4th book of the year. It is so good. Talia Hibbert just like, she knows how to write romance so good. She knows how to write this connection between two characters and like make you so invested in it and make you care and make you love them. And it's so good. This was amazing. I loved Celine. I loved Bradley. I think they are like they are my children. I love them so much. If you don't know what this book is about, this book follows our two main characters, Celine and Bradley. They used to be really good friends in their childhood, but ever since they've gone to high school, Bradley's fallen into like the popular crowd while Celine's not in the popular crowd, and they just like gradually grew apart, but they have this like animosity towards each other, and it turns into this rivalry because they are both like the top students at their school, and with that they enter in this program and they're kind of going head to head to win the scholarship. And so that is the premise of the story, and it's so good. I love it so much. And just like the friendship aspect in here too, like I love books with like group dynamics and like with group friendships. It is the best thing ever, and I love it. This book was so good, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. The fact that this has an average rating of like 3.87 or something on Goodreads, I know like you shouldn't really follow like Goodreads ratings, whatever, like the star rating, whatever, because it's never really accurate. But like the fact that it has like a 3.87 or something like that rating, criminal, because this is such a good book. Coming in at number 9, we have Jade Shards by Fonda Lee. Yes, I love this more than Jade Legacy because this short story collection gave me everything I wanted in Jade Legacy. And that makes me sad because why should I get it from a short story collection when I should have gotten it in the actual original trilogy? You know? That is my only gripe with it. But I loved it. I loved it so much because we get like short stories from like kind of the main characters, but like the like most interesting characters to me: Ayat, Lan, Hilo and Wen, and Shay. And very bittersweet. I like, my favorite short story is Lan's because I love him and I wish we so got more of him. I love him so much. I love him. And I don't say this in my review, so I'll say it now, but well, I did mention I was kind of like bored of his character in Jade City, but I was gearing myself up to really like him. You know, I felt like he was gonna be a character who like really grew on me and who I was like, oh, you know, he was really boring, but like he's really shown himself and he's just such a great character, you know? And then I didn't get that. So I got it within the short story, and he's just so fantastic. I love him. And I do talk about the short story collection in a vlog, so if you want to know my thoughts on that, go do that. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. Coming in at number 8, Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. It's the original best sequel in a trilogy. Like, you can't get any better than that. It was my first time reading Catching Fire. I've read The Hunger Games now twice. I read The Hunger Games at the beginning of the year, and then the first time I read The Hunger Games was like 10 years ago, and I just never read the entire trilogy. I've watched the movies, not the last 2 movies though. I've watched the movies like over and over. The 2 movies that I've watched over and over, but I've never read the trilogy. And you know, the Hunger Games Renaissance came upon us this year, which I love. And so I was like, you know what? Let me just read this trilogy to like really fully get back into the groove of like the Hunger Games. And I read Catching Fire. And like, I would say the one thing that like kind of gave this like a lower star rating than I like would have anticipated is the fact that I knew everything that was going to happen-ish because I watched the movie, and that's really my fault. That's not the book's fault. It is my fault. But it was kind of predictable because I knew what was going to happen. It was so good. I loved it. I loved it so much. I can't really say if the film is better, if the book is better. I would say that the book is better just because it has more details, and they have like that training scene with Haymitch, Peeta, and Katniss, and I love that so much. Oh my god, I wish that was in the movie. Catching Fire, so good. If you don't know what the premise is, go Google it. It is popular enough for you to go do that. But also, what are you doing? You should already know what the Hunger Games are about. But yeah, I give this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Coming in at number 7, we have Blue Lily Lily Blue by Maggie Stiefvater. I am slowly rereading this quartet, and The Raven King is next. I just don't know when I'm gonna read that. I don't have it planned. I think it's usually just like when I feel like it. But I read Blue Lily Lily Blue at the beginning of the year. I think it was like my 3rd book. Anyway, this has always been my least favorite of the quartet of the 4 books, and I usually accredit it to like losing my mojo, like my groove while reading this series, because I always read this series like in succession. I think I talked about this in a vlog. You can go watch my review on this in one of the vlogs. But yeah, I usually blamed it on that. So this time reading it, I was feeling like reading, you know, and I was feeling like reading this book, and my favorite reread this time around, and I loved it. I don't think it's my favorite of the 4 books. I would have to read the 4th book to know, but it's still not my favorite. I still really like it though, and this reread made me appreciate Adam Parrish so much. I love him, and that was a slow growth into loving him, you know, because he was like my least favorite character, and now he's like one of my favorites because we see eye to eye, me and Adam Parrish. Unfortunately, this is probably 17-year-old Sabrina's like worst nightmare. Not her worst nightmare, but like she would be jaw dropped at the fact that I love him and that I relate more to him than I do to Gansey, because Gansey is still my all-time favorite white boy. Yeah, Adam Parrish really just like showed up in this book, and I love him. And if you don't know what the series is about, it follows these 4 boys, and our main boy Gansey, he's looking for a dead Welsh king, and he and his group of friends, they meet this girl named Blue Sargent, who is part of a family of psychics, but she is not a psychic herself, and they all go on this journey to try to find this dead Welsh king. And it's about magic, trees, friendship, cars, rich white boys, scholarships, college, all that good stuff. Amazing. And it's my favorite all-time series, if you couldn't tell. Anyway, I gave this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Coming in at number 6, we have Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. I love this book so much. I also have a review on this in one of my vlogs. I posted it. Yes, I posted the vlog where I talk about this book. It is so good. Ninth House was such a struggle to get through. If you want to know more of my thoughts, go watch that vlog where I talk about it. This was just great. It was great. I loved it. Took me a while to finish it though. It's so good. If you don't know what this series is about, the first book is Ninth House. It follows our main character, I think, Galaxy Stern, or Alex. She is a survivor of a multi-homicide, and she gets offered the chance to go to Yale and be a part of their secret society. I think it's called Lethe. And through that, there's ghosts, demons, supernatural creatures, rituals that happen, and we have the amazing Darlington, and it's It's great. It's fantastic. I love this. I love this sequel. It's so good. And I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Top 5 now. Coming in at number 5, we have Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe. This was so good. I also have a vlog where I talk about this book, so if you want to know more of my in-depth thoughts, go watch that vlog. This was such a good book. Really caught me by surprise because I was not intending to read this book like at all. I had a physical copy. I don't know why I bought it, but I had a physical copy and I was just looking for something to read during the summer. You know, I thought it was going to be sad. It was kind of sad. This was truly just such a life-changing book and I love it. Forever love it. Lily Who, she is my favorite character. Like my favorite thing was her. And I feel like with a lot of books you can't say that. A lot of books you can't really say that the main character is your favorite. Like your favorite thing, you know? Like I usually feel like, oh, the dialogue's my favorite. Like the plot's my favorite. You know, the side character's my favorite. No, Lily Who, my main character, Lily Who, she's my favorite thing. I love her so much. If you don't know what this book is about, this book follows Lily Who. I think we're in the 1950s. I don't know, 1950s. I'm gonna assume it's 1950s, and she is discovering her sexuality for the first time in her life, and she becomes friends with this one other girl named Kath, and they go to this club, and yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, like, how else do I explain it? Yeah, these two girls, they meet up, they go to like a gay bar, and they have a little shindig. You know, there's also like other stuff that's happening, but that's kind of like the main thing. It's really good. It's really good. That's all I can say. It's so good. It's so good. Oh my god. I give this a 5 out of 5 stars. It's so good. Coming in at number 4, we have You Don't Have a Shot by Raquel Marie. Raquel Marie is really just killing it. Like, I'm so excited for her junior release. Love. Anyway, You Don't Have a Shot. I do also talk about this in a vlog. So again, if you want more in-depth thoughts on this, go watch that vlog. But this is amazing. I love it so much. Our main character, Vale, I love her. As I say in my vlog, hater girly. Again, also, me and her see eye to eye. I love her so much. And just the romance between her and Letitia. Oh my god, it's amazing. Like, if you don't know what this book is about, this book follows our main character, Valentina, and she has this rivalry with Letitia, and they've always had this rivalry since they were kids, and like now they're going to be seniors in high school, and like this rivalry is still strong. And Vale, she chooses to go to soccer camp, and Letitia is also there, and a lot of rivalry ensues, and they have to work together on a team as co-captains, and you can imagine what happens. And it's amazing. It's perfect. It is amazing. I love it so much, and it was one of my anticipated reads this year, and it did not disappoint. It's so good. Go read it. That's it. Go read it. And the banter is amazing. The fight scenes are amazing. The arguments, so good. Raquel Marie, I love you for it. I love you. I gave that a 5 out of 5 stars. I may have only talked about top 14. I'm looking at my numbers now, and that's really embarrassing. So we talked about top 14. Just like letting you know, top 15 was The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Just know that. I love that book. Anyway, top 2 now. We are in top 2. Top 3 was You Don't Have a Shot. Top 2 now, okay, is Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry by Joya Goffney. I think I said their name right. This book caught me by surprise because I got a copy of it because I saw on Twitter someone saying that this book is really good, and so I think it was like this random day I went to Barnes and Noble and I was trying to kill time, and like I just like ended up buying a whole bunch of books, and this was one of the books. So I was like kind of like, I'll get it. I don't know if I'll ever read it soon, but I'll get it. It'll be on my shelf. And so I got it, and then I ended up reading it. It was like one of the first books I read this year. Caught me by surprise by how much I enjoyed it. It was so good because I didn't know anything about this book. I just like picked it up and I was like, you know what, let's just read like the first page, and then I couldn't put it down. It is so good. If you don't know what this book is about, this book follows our main character, Quinn, and she has this journal where she pours her heart out into it. It's a very personal, intimate journal, and she has a whole bunch of lists in there. They range from very simple, like things I want to do before graduating, and they also range from embarrassing, like with cutest hottest boys in school that I want to kiss. So you can imagine that Quinn would not want anyone to like find this book, but she ends up losing it. She enlists in the help of fellow classmate Carter, and together they have this bond, and while trying to find her journal, and it's so good. It's so good. I love it so much. Quinn is everything to me. I love her so much. This is like so good. Like so good. Like your perfect YA romance book. It has like such a really good friend group. Again, with the friend groups, I love friend groups. Really good friend group. The romance between Carter and Quinn is amazing. I love them so much. Oh my god, this was such a good book. And this is like, it hasn't happened in a while, but this is one of the books where I was reading it and I was like, I really wish that like after I'm reading this, like I could erase my memory so I could experience this for the first time again, because it is that good. This is a book that I want to experience for the first time every single time I read it. It's so good. I love it. I love it so much. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was so good. And talking about my number one book of the year, and I don't think this is a surprise, Jade War by Fonda Lee. Fantastic. Yeah, best book I read this year, best book I've read in a while. Like, the Greenbone Saga is like my all-time favorite, one of my all-time favorite like series now. And this book is just so good. It is so good. It is the best, most perfect sequel. I know I said that about Catching Fire. Catching Fire is the original one. This is mine. This is my favorite sequel. Nothing can beat it. It is so good. It is amazing. Again, I have a full review on this series if you want to hear me talk about this more, but this book is just like perfection, and truly surprised me because I was not expecting to read this book. Like, I was going through my archived and there were so many times when I like mentioned wanting to read this book, like, oh my god, it's available on my library now, I'm so gonna read this. And that was me saying that in like 2022, like beginning of 2022, because I finished Jade City in 2021 and I was like, oh yeah, sure, like I'll wait a little bit and then I'll read Jade War, and then I never did, and then I kind of forgot about it. And then the thing that made me want to get back into this was Augusti, or Sugas de Tueta, that song. Someone said that this was like on every Jade City playlist. I listened to it again and it really got me back in the mood, and so I picked it up and I read it at the most perfect time. I read it in the summer, I read it outside. It was just like perfect, amazing, my everything. Best book I've ever read. The adrenaline rush, the amount of stress I had reading this, the amount of emotions I had in general while reading this is fantastic. If you don't know what the Greenbone Saga is about, this whole series is about this family is at the center of it, the Call family. So we have our three main siblings, Lon, Hilo, and Shay. They are the top of the clan, very mafia-ish type of stuff, but they are at the head of the, don't tell me I forgot the clan names, they are the head of the Call estate. And oh god, it's the Mountain Clan, and then what is our main clan name? This is kind of embarrassing, but we have the Calls, and then we have the Mountain Clan, who is headed by Ayat, and they're both, it's very much like a territory war, a lot of like political stuff. It's hard to explain this, but it's about these siblings who are fighting against the world to try to keep their family intact and together, and it's so complex and it's fantastic, and I'm forgetting such crucial details about this series, and it's so embarrassing because I just said that it was my all-time favorite, one of my all-time favorite series. Maybe I should reread them. Anyway, that is it for my favorite books of 2023. Such a good reading year. My favorite reading month was July. That is when I read the Greenbone Saga, Last Night at the Telegraph Club, and You Don't Have a Shot. Like June, July, those were the prime months. It was fantastic. I loved this reading year. It was so good. In total, I read 60 books, and I'm really proud of myself because that's the most I've read in a year ever. Big accomplishments, and that's it. Thank you for watching this video. None of it was scripted. It was all rambling. So if none of it made sense, or if nothing really was talked about more, I apologize, but thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.